Hey, if you're an American and you're thinking about spending a year or two in Australia, then stay tuned for the video. Applying for a work and holiday visa to Australia. How's it done? How long does the process take? How much does it cost? I'm going to share all those details with you and more in the video. I noticed there were no videos on YouTube about the application process if you're looking into spending more than just a tourist allocated amount of time in Australia. So for example, I wanted to go there for a whole year. You can do that. You just apply for a visa to go there. It's called work and holiday visa. For Americans, it's subclass 462. I personally applied for the visa about 3 months or so before I needed it, just in case the process took longer than expected. If your record isn't clean, I definitely would recommend that you give yourself that extra grace period because they will look into that. However, I actually heard back from them about 5 days later that I got approved. I got an email. I got an email with the invoice, and I got an email with the IMMA notification. It kind of looked a little something like this, telling me the details of it, the conditions. It says that there is employer work limitation, meaning I am limited to certain types of employment, and study limitations, meaning I'm only limited to studying a certain number of hours, a certain number of months at school over there. But it was perfect for what I needed it to be because I wasn't really there to study. They give you a year from the date that the visa is granted to enter the country. Also, what I did, I don't know if it's necessary, but I actually submitted everything through a third-party agency, and they do take a small fee. I want to say their fee is like $100 or something, but it ultimately just makes it easier for you. Basically, they text you over WhatsApp, and that way you have contact with them in case you need help with anything. They help you get your tax number. If you want it, they will give you a phone card. When applying for the Australian work visa, you will need to submit a few things. So first off, you're gonna need proof that you have at least 5,000 Australian dollars in your bank account, which at the moment I want to say that's close to about 3,000 American, but you might want to look into that yourself. That way you're able to get yourself home safely, and you have enough money to give yourself a little bit of a grace period while looking for a job. That way, you know, you have at least a few months' bills. Second, you're gonna need to show that you have no serious criminal convictions. I think the way that they're assessed in terms of seriousness is based on how much jail time you've done. So if it was something that you didn't do any jail time for, then I think you're good. I think you'll pass. And you also need to prove that you're between the ages of 18 to 30, I think maybe even 31. If you're Canadian, French, or Irish, then you have up until 35. But for Americans, you need to be under 31. Once you submit your application with those three things, then you're going to need to pay them the fee. It's a one-time fee. It's about 500 Australian, which was like 300 American. But again, you might want to look into that. I know sometimes regulations change every few years. And the company that I actually went through, third-party company, Australia Workpack, I'm sure they're probably not the only company you can go through, and they probably change every few years as well too, but I will list all the links in the bio below. I think at some point you also need to prove to them that you have travel health insurance. It's going to work while you're in that country. I found mine from a company. It was called IMAN, I-M-A-N, and you can pay them by the week as you go for as long as you're there. A few other things that the third-party company does for you is that they help you get a bank account. They send you the paperwork for that. They tell you what branch to go to, and that way when you go, it's just a lot easier. Streamlines the process a little bit. They also you can buy a SIM card with them prior to arriving in the country, and I did that. I actually don't recommend it though, because what happened was once I got there, they email you the SIM card like 24 hours before your trip, and then so you're just barely getting it when you're getting into town. And because of the time difference, I had given them the wrong date, and so I just ended up buying another SIM card as soon as I got to the airport. Even though I didn't apply for the second year working holiday visa, I know from other people that did that before you apply for it, you have to show that you've done at least like 2 or 3 months of farm work. And I guess that's part of like Australia's incentive for letting foreigners come in and work in their country for a year, is that they contribute to farm work. So that $500 fee that you pay with your application, that only covers 1 year. So if you decide that you do want to stay in the country for a second year, you're going to have to pay that fee again. I don't think you have to pay a third party company the second time around because you're already set up in terms of phone and bank account and all that. But yeah, so you will have to pay the government the fee for the second year visa. A few weeks later, the company will send you like a notification thing in the mail, and they also sent me this card. And I thought that this was like the card that I would show them at the airport, and so I held on to it. But no, apparently this is some kind of discount card, and you can get discounts on hostels and activities. I don't think that the hostel, the first one at least that I was staying at, approved of this discount card, and so I just didn't end up really making any use of it while I was there. But I did have to hold on to this and show it to them at the airport. Because when they ask you, they're like, oh, are you entering the country as a tourist? And I said, no, I'm here on a work holiday visa. I show them the paperwork. They take note of it in their system, and we're good to go. Another benefit to working with a third-party company is they have this login portal, and on there they're gonna have like they had all these videos explaining the process of what you need to do to get in the country, what paperwork you need to have prepared, how to find a job, what licenses you're going to need if you get a job. For example, if you're in certain trades, I believe you have to get like, I think it's called a white card. If you're going to be working with alcohol, there's a certain license that you have to get with that. That's not included in your initial fee. You're going to have to pass an exam and pay that fee at some later on point. But this initial intro that the third-party company provides just lets you know, kind of gives you a little overview of what to expect once you get in, once you're applying for a job, once you're getting your bank account, when you're getting your tax file number. And so it takes a little while. After you submit your application and you pay the third-party fee, they're actually going to contact you on WhatsApp, and their customer service was pretty great from my experience, and they're going to give you the links, remind you to fill out to log into the portal, and just go through their little video training series to help you onboard and just to, make it a smoother transition moving to a new country. I'm gonna go ahead and read the message that they had sent me on WhatsApp when I arrived. So it said, hi, I'm from Team Australia Workpack. We're here to help you organize all the necessary stuff before your trip to Australia. Please visit the online portal to access the following and other super helpful stuff. 4 short explainer videos, access to our webinar, link to request your bank account setup, discount links for RSA and white card work licenses, link to organize your Australia SIM card. Simply use your email address to get in, and if you don't have a password, click that. Okay, so they give you that, and they also provide an email address that you can contact them with any questions. Though my experience has been that, even just contacting them directly through WhatsApp, they've been responsive. There's also a Zoom meeting that you watch to help you onboard, and you have to be careful with that because the timing of it, it's like in London time, so you need to make sure that you log into it at the right time. Also, when you pay the third-party fee, they have a deal set up with a wire transfer company, an international wire transfer company, and it includes 3 free wires, so that more than covers the fee that you're going to go ahead and pay the agency. So I highly recommend that. I was actually used that free wire to transfer my money there before arrival, and then transfer whatever I had left back to the US upon leaving the country. If you decide not to go through a third-party company, I will tell you this from my experience. The wire company that I used to transfer money was called OFX, so look into them. It was a pretty smooth transfer, so good experience there. They will also email you all these forms through email, like both the Visa Bureau and the third-party company sent me everything through email, and that just made it really easy for me to just save it into my files folder on my iPhone. So I have both paper copies and the digital copies that I can access in case I ever need that information.